Hello, I'm Marcus V. Calvert, and welcome to Tales Unlimited Kitchen Rants. It is a little after midnight on 13th of April. Just finished a story called Uncle Chen. Not bad, this one. This would make a decent book. I'll get to the hows of that later. Okay, based on a prompt in the very first of the battery books. There's six now, but this one was let's see, prompt 51, I think. Um, Basically, there's a pack of werewolves running around a post-apocalyptic wasteland, and you've got to hunt them without silver. Basically, is the prompt. Like a world where silver just fell out of circulation, value, whatever. Folks don't even know what silver looks like, right? They don't even know maybe what they're up against because this is so far after the downfall of civilization. They may not even know what a werewolf is. It's like, what are those things and why are bullets not killing them? Okay, we gotta get clever. And then maybe some crazy old man's like, you need silver, you idiots. What's that? Be the reply. Oh, shiny stuff like what? Metal? Anyway, that was the prompt. And then I resulted to an antagonist cookbook, like Wild Shot Generation. Let me just see what idea would come of it, right? I wasn't sure I was making the werewolf or the hunter or both. So I just kicked one out there. And what I came back with was a kung fu mofo, mystical martial artist, and an alchemist. Okay. Martial artist, mystical alchemist, and then all these other little powers that would have been perfect for a gunslinging outlaw. Okay. So, gunslinging outlaw. I named him Uncle Chen. Now, how do I get a Chinese gunslinging outlaw into a post-apocalyptic Old West, or I could say neo-Old West setting? That became the story. And I had to basically construct, while this guy's lacing up his shoes in a cell after being ambushed and his gang basically being wiped out, I had to construct his past and the world as it became, like how the world fell apart, the rise of the guilds, the fall of America and all the other heavyweight countries in the world and what happened there. Interesting. Needs some cleaning up. It has potential to definitely be in the next book. But what I like is that it has movie potential. That's the thing about short stories. Sometimes you write these pieces and you're like, wow, that would make a really cool game, or that would make a really cool movie. I mean, that is the power of a short story. One that just seems to have its own gravitational pull. Beware of these stories. Spend more time than normal with these stories because you might end up selling the rights to these stories, or they might be what you write a book around yourself, your own book, or a screenplay, a comic book, something else, maybe a game. Shawshank Redemption, remember, based on a short story. I mean, there's some movies and Hollywood and iconic status that were based on short stories. And this reminds me of one. I could probably have done that with a number of my recent ones, but this one just screams, expand on me, expand on me. Like I almost want to give it to an Asian studio and let them run wild with it, with the special effects, or turn it into a manga style anime. It has chops because it involves werewolves. It involves Chinese gunslinger, maybe in his 50s. Used to be Chinese military, and I won't give any more away. And he sees a problem involving a werewolf hunt that is not your typical werewolf hunt. It is a twisted one. So I guess my point is, keep in mind when you write certain stories, they have a power all their own. File them away, and that's part of the battery process. It's looking for stories like these. If you don't write a series around the short story, you can use elements from that short story in your book when you ultimately write it. Even the book that's in your head right now before you start the battery road. Like you spent 3 or 4 years working on this urban fantasy piece, and Your werewolf story is okay, but let's say you wrote this prompt out, blah, 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 blah. You went down the rabbit hole and you came up with something amazing, right? Like a modern day werewolf story or a futuristic werewolf story or even one on another colony world or something. And then you go back to your original idea and go, okay, I'm going to take some of this and some of that. That's the advantage of writing these short stories. The nightmare fuel, the ideas you can steal from yourself rather than myth or cliches, the writers, blah, blah, blah. Steal from yourself. Give your subconscious the challenge of creating multiple stories, honing your chops, and then adding it to the final big works. It works, I should know. That's how I write my novels. I just want to emphasize the importance of doing that. Keeping that in mind when you do go back to your big novel after a whole bunch of batteries, go through your smaller works. You'd be surprised what you find. All right, I'm done. This is Marcus V. Calvert, Tales Unlimited, Kitchen Rants. Please like and subscribe. Books are available on Amazon, Kindle, Kindle Unlimited. The link is on iVillain.net, all one word. Enjoy.